I've listened to a lot of podcasts from authors, especially indie authors. And one of the things that I've heard them say a lot, and I think it's probably true, especially with indie authors, because they don't have the engine of a publishing house that can kind of get their book in front of lots of people's faces. But a lot of authors are talking about how important it is that you kind of present yourself, that you're selling yourself to your target audience in the hopes that they'll get interested enough in them in you that they'll buy your books. And once they read your books, assuming you're a good reader, which I hope I am, once they start reading the books, they'll be interested enough to keep buying them. But you got to get them interested in it, and you kind of tell them a little bit about yourself and help them learn you and learn what's important to you. And so um, one of the things they spend time talking about, this one lady in particular, I listen to her every week, and she's hilarious. But she talks about all the things that she enjoys, that all of her different hobbies. And as I think about it, I don't really have hobbies in the strictest sense. I do enjoy um, just watching sports. I haven't played them in a while. I'm getting up there. The closest I come to playing sports is that I use my VR goggles once in a while to play some tennis or something. Um, but as I thought about it, I realized that my main pursuit in my life is, oddly enough, my wife. Um, she's my hobby. Making her happy is my hobby. Her smile is my pursuit. Um, and that's because God gave her to me uh, in such a way and at such a time that it's no question in my mind that she's God's gift to me. And without going into too much detail, I'll tell some of that story at some point in time. But um, I came out of a really long marriage, 28 years, in a previous marriage. That was, um, well, the last 10 or 15 years of it was kind of hellish for a lot of reasons. Some her fault and some mine. Um, but it kind of gutted me. The ending of my marriage, the ending of that relationship, and just the idea of divorce. I don't like the idea of divorce. I don't like the idea of giving up on a marriage. I don't think that's in God's best plan. And I hated myself at the end of that time when I realized that I'd failed in that very central thing in my life. And I really did. I mean, I loathed myself. And it took me quite a while to get to a point where I could even look in the mirror. I remember um, years of shaving in the shower so I wouldn't have to look in the mirror while I shaved. And because I just couldn't look at myself, I hated myself that much. And I had a group of friends who loved me back into life, and it was from my church, and they were just these beautiful, sweet friends. I'm really sad to say I've lost one of them, not to death, but we've lost that relationship. But um, I finally got to a point where I could live with the idea that people could love me again, and I started to kind of like myself again. And at that point, um, in walked Sarah, and I get this big silly grin on my face anytime I think about her, and it's because she's just amazing. She's the prettiest woman I've ever seen. I'm going to show a picture at the end of our wedding day, and if you can look at her and not just be awestruck by her beauty, um, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Maybe I'm prejudiced, but it's just she's stunning. She's the prettiest thing I've ever looked at. And in this picture, he and I are standing on opposite sides of a door at our church, and we're holding hands and praying. And that was important for us on our wedding day that we keep God in the center of our marriage. And that's part of the problem with my previous marriage that I didn't do a good job of that. And we got married 8 years ago, and I love her more today than I did the day I fell in love with her, which was on our second date. It's a fun story I'll tell sometime. But she's my hobby. Um, Everything I do with how can I make Sarah happy in mind. I love to cook for her. I love to keep the house up for her. I love to take her out on dates and on trips. Love to rub her feet, and I just love to love her because her laugh makes my heart sing. And I know that's cliche, it's neat, but it's true. It really does make my heart feel like it's wagging its tail. And her smile is the thing I pursue daily. And I'm just crazy about her. And I don't mean to get commercial, but um, when you read Sam and Meg, you read a lot about Sarah's and my relationship. They are crazy about each other in the same ways that Sarah and I are crazy about each other. And Sam's goal in life is to make Meg happy. And so if you want to know about me, you can read about Sam and Meg. And if you want to know about me, all you need to know is Sarah and Jesus. Godspeed.